Last night, the offense. Scott Kazmir will look to redeem himself after a loss to Kansas City 2 starts ago. The lefty would love to get back on a roll as the A's continue their postseason push. Game 3 of 4, A's Royals next. Well, it is another very comfortable night at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and we got a pair of lefties squaring off tonight. Jason Vargas for the Royals and Scott Kazmir for the Athletics. A's won big last night, so it's Game 3 of this 4-game series. It's the Kansas City Royals and the Oakland A's coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Len Kuiper. Scott Kazmir looking for his 14th win of the year. Ray, and interesting, his last 2 starts, he's had 1 bad inning in each start. And not just bad, but he's gotten knocked around, which is a little bit strange for him.
Yeah, 4 against Kansas City. He lost that game because it was James Shields. You don't give up 4 runs to him. And in his last start, he gave up the 5-spot Minnesota Twins. The A's did win that game. Scott Kazmir has reinvented himself and has become a great pitcher. Those 2 big innings, and perhaps it's just a matter of loss of concentration. Something in the last start, he had a big lead. Of course, it helped him that the A's did have the lead when he gave up the 5. But it seems like when a pitcher gets a lead, kind of settles down a little bit, maybe a little bit too much. We saw it with Lester last night. Maybe that's been the case with Kazmir.
Now we know the story with the Royals. They're still in first place, half game over the Tigers in the Central. And Ray, if they're going to continue on and get to the postseason, obviously they're going to need good pitching, but they may need a big month and a half from Billy Butler.
They call him country breakfast. You look at him, you can understand why. He's a big boy. He loves to hit. He's not done that much against the A's, but what he did against the Diamondbacks and the Giants, he was the American League Player of the Week. He's a strong hitter, might not hit a lot of home runs. He'll use the gap-to-gap, drive in some big runs. Plus, he's playing a very good first base with Eric Hosmer on the disabled list. Pretty good guy having the lineup.
All right, so it should be a good one tonight. A couple of lefties, Vargas and Kazmir, set to square off. And we'll have lineups and first pitch in just a little bit. But right now, we're going to head back inside the A's pregame live studios for an update. Then we'll come back to Kauffman Stadium.
By Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
We are back at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals have taken the field, and we are just about set to get this one going. Game 3 of the 4-game series. Beautiful night for baseball here in Kansas City, and we have lucked out with the weather. Here is the weather. It's presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 80 degrees, just a light breeze, not a whole lot of humidity. And even the manager, Bob Melvin, said, hey, we catch a break with this weather, and if you got bad humidity in this part of the country, you may have to rest a guy in this series.
Yeah, right.
And he has really not had to do that because of what has really been very comfortable weather. Quick look at the lineup for the A's tonight. It'll be Coco Crisp leading off at center, then Fold, Donaldson, Gomes, Norris, Lowry, Fryman, Reddick, and Callaspo.
And it's the veteran left-hander, new to the Kansas City Royals, but he's not new to the Athletics. Jason Vargas, who pitched against the A's at the Coliseum, and he was good, except for one inning. The 5th inning, the A's scored 8 runs against he and the bullpen. But Vargas, coming back from an appendectomy, that was his first start after about 25 days off. This is his 3rd, second against the Athletics in his last 3.
So Vargas is ready, and so is Coco Crisp, and we are set for baseball from Kauffman Stadium. First pitch from Vargas to Crisp is a fastball that's low. So Coco back in there. He played on Monday night. He did not play last night. Back in there tonight. Fouls that one just below us, so a 7:10 start time locally.
Vargas retired the first 12 batters he faced at the Coliseum on that Saturday afternoon.
And that was his first start coming back from the disabled list. He was on the disabled list for 25 days. He had the appendectomy when the Royals were down in St. Petersburg playing the Rays. Just a bit low, 3-1. Umpires tonight. That is the crew chief, Tom Hallion, who will be calling balls and strikes.
Well, he has a strikeout call and called 3rd strike. We cannot wait to see it. Not against the A's, though.
And that one flipped foul just over the head of Ty Waller. Full count. A's with the big offensive output last night. A season high 20 hits. As they just knocked the ball all over the ballpark. Reach for that one, and it's a fastball down, hit the shallow left field, and Gordon has it, 1 away. The Royals defense tonight lines up like this: Gordon in left, Kane in center, Aoki in right. Christian Colon gets the start at 3rd base tonight. Escobar at short, Infante at second, Butler at first, Perez once again behind the plate. He's a workhorse, isn't he, Ray?
Yes, he is. And with the contract that he has, as we mentioned last night, which is team friendly, they just do not want to wear him out, although Ned Yost likes what he does and wants to see him back there.
Quick 0-1 to Sam Fold.
Sam's game last night is hustle. Got him in the lineup again tonight, even though there is a lefty. Brandon Moss gets the evening off.
That Fold last night had 3 hits. He was running all over the place. Little slider fouled. A's had 11 runs and 20 hits last night. They had a couple of doubles, and of course the 2 home runs, both by Donaldson. So just swing and a miss as Fold strikes out. So just 3 hits on Monday night, 20 hits last night.
Last night, those are the numbers, and 11 games. Not very good, but last night broke out. And Josh Donaldson, the leader of the pack. And, you know, really, and I mentioned to Donaldson about, of course, his home runs. And I said, biggest play of the game. And he said, yep, the double play in the 6th inning. And remember, we talked about Willingham hit the ball hard. Donaldson handled it. 5-4-3 double play. At that point, the Royals had scored 3 in the previous inning. And the momentum kind of shifted towards the Royals. And Donaldson, the hard hit ball, able to handle it. And even though he hit 2 home runs, he was thinking about that.
Vargas pumps the first pitch in for a strike. Donaldson now with 25 home runs, 84 RBIs. And he lofts this one into left center field, and Kane dives. He can't get it and rolls past him. It goes all the way to the wall in deep left center field, and Donaldson will be at second with a double.
Well, you have to think, and of course, a great effort by Kane in center field, but it's 2 outs. Could have held him to a single and maybe kept taking a couple of hits to score him, but by making the effort trying to catch a ball that was hit or miss, and he missed it, and Donaldson ends up in scoring position. It came close, but it was not a particularly great play considering it did put Donaldson in scoring position. See if Johnny Gomes can come through and drive him home.
So Gomes steps in.
Got to know when to dive, when to not to dive, know the situations. And the A's, though, as they did last night, 2-out hitting, coming through with some big hits. Try to do it here to drive in the first run.
Gomes takes a fastball for a strike. Gomes pinch hit last night, and he had a sacrifice fly.
You have to see that location by Perez inside one of the fastball pitch towards the middle of the plate away, and that's sometimes where pitchers cannot get the fastball inside.
Change up, and that was a good one. So 0-2 to Gomes. It's Vargas' best pitch, the changeup, and that was it right there.
And he'll use 2 and 4 seam fastball a lot, both sides of the plate, but because the changeup looks like his fastball, and that's why he and Kazmir are so similar in styles of pitching.
Gomes, since joining the Athletics, is 3 for 11. This is his 8th game that he has appeared in. 27% of the time, Vargas throws his changeup, and that's a lot. So he's now thrown 3 in a row, and he may throw another one.
And you know, the thing about Gomes, he tries to wait as long as possible. He realizes how pitchers are going to pitch him because he faces predominantly left-handed pitchers. They'll show him in, then fastball change-ups away.
Gomes grounds it in the hole. Escobar has it. He'll hold on to it. So Escobar with a nice play saves a run, but it's a hit for Gomes, and the A's have first and third.
And that is so huge. That is so huge because what it does is with a runner at third, you always say, or second, you're always saying knock the ball down, get dirty so runner can't score, and if that ball gets through, it's a run for the A's. Good hit for Gomes, but Donaldson had to stop at third. He saw that Escobar had made the play.
So Norris will step in. Third straight start in this series for Norris. Fouls that one straight back. It's been a little bit of a tough series for Derek. He's 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts, and he has hit into 2 double plays.
Well, that's why it'd be great for him to come up big in tonight's game, especially in this situation. His parents are here. A lot of people are here to watch him, and he has had a tough time at the plate, doing a good job behind the plate and catching, but swinging the bat, not so much.
Fastball right there, and it's 0-2.
It's kind of in between. Wanted to pull the trigger. Fastball there. Couldn't pull it.
0-2 pitches in the dirt. Ray, when a guy is basically a fastball changeup pitcher, and I think pretty much what Vargas is it just a guessing game as a hitter?
Yeah, it has to be, and you just think one or the other. And if he throws a curveball, you're going to recognize, you're going to see it, and you could react late enough, as really Donaldson did, to hit the ball the way he did. But otherwise, sit back or not.
And that one called the ball. And the A's may have caught a break there.
Yeah, and I don't know that Norris would have had much of an objection from the umpire. And boy, it was right there. But we have seen when the umpires are on the inside shoulder, the left shoulder of the catcher, looking right on the inside corner, they're more critical of that pitch than they are the one outside. So if it's not a makeup here.
In the dirt, and now it's 3-2.
Well, you know what you can think about here, and you talk about your guessing game. This is the time to sit soft and go opposite field. He's got a huge hole on the right side. So if he looks for the changeup and gets a fastball, he could swing late, hit the ball to right side, right field, and still get a base hit. If you load up looking fastball and he pulls a string, it's not going to work.
Gomes runs, and it's a swing and a miss, and it was a changeup. So Vargas gets out of the jam. A's with a couple of hits, but they do not score. Starts with Nori Aoki in right field. Infante at second. Perez will catch. Butler at first. Gordon left. Willingham will DH. Kane in center. Escobar at short. And Christian Colon is the third baseman.
Scott Kazmir trying to keep the line moving after John Lester won last night. Kazmir like to pick up his 14th win. As we mentioned, the start against the Royals gave up 4 runs in 1 inning. 5 runs in the inning. 1 inning against the Twins. Did win 1, lost the other. Try to win tonight against the Royals that beat him on that Sunday afternoon.
Full will be in left for the A's tonight. Crispin center, Reddick in right. Donaldson, Lowry, Cayaspo, Fryman around the infield, and Derek Norris again catcher. So Nori Aoki steps in. Kazmir climbs back to the top of the mound. He is ready. Royals come in 10 games over 500, 64-54, and they're holding on to that half-game lead over the Tigers in the Central. Royals, with the loss last night, had their 8-game winning streak snapped, so they've won 8 out of 9 and 16 out of 20. Last night struck out 12 times as a team. Two and one now to Aoki. Interesting note from this series, Ray. The Royals have not even attempted a stolen base in the first 2 games, and this is the team that leads the American League in stolen bases. And a little flare to left, and that's a hit.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game for Scott Kazmir. Avoid a Royals big inning, as we have seen the last 2 starts for him, and it's National Left-Handers Day. How about that? Hello, the right-handed lineup, and seeing some guys in the lineup have not seen for a while, especially for the Athletics. Nate Fryman, the big Nate, with little Aoki next to him. See how big Nate does against Vargas. But you know, you mentioned about the no attempts for the stolen bases. Of course, Sonny Gray's very quick at first and quick to the plate, and John Lester's got a good move, holding runners close. And even Scott Kazmir is showing a little slide step there and not losing that much off the pitch.
Now, of course, last night the Royals were behind by quite a bit, but still, for a team that has 102 stolen bases on the year, for them to not have even attempted one in the first 2 games, maybe a little bit strange, but I guess the opportunities have to be there. High in the air, Reddick on the move, still on the move, and it's just a bit foul. A couple seats in, a couple rows in. Base stealers are 11 for 12 against Kazmir this year. So,
and when they go, it's on the first move, because he does have a good move, and when he lifts the front leg, as we have said many times, when he lifts the front leg, he can go to the plate or first base. So it kind of freezes them whenever he does lift the front leg.
Aoki's got a pretty good lead. And that one hit to Fryman, who grabs it and tries to get to Aoki, who scrambles back. So Infante lines out. Big Nate with a nice play.
Well, and you're holding a runner first base, and you're coming off, and you want to cut the gap on that ball. Actually, almost as if Fryman had not caught it, it would have hit Aoki. But Aoki, not the big lead off first base once the ball was hit. Knowing that a line drive go back to the bag, he was able to get around the Nate's tag.
There's the big and small of it right there.
Nate's not even standing on the bag.
No. 1 away for Salvador Perez. First pitch is in for a strike. Perez 269 with 14 home runs.
We talked last night. Rusty Kuntz, the first base coach, has the stopwatch, and you think of Kazmir so far in this inning, he's well aware of the stolen base attempts, and especially with Aoki, he's using a slide step, which means when that thumb goes down on the stopwatch, it's going to hit very quickly, because Kazmir is getting rid of the ball quickly.
Fastball hustling out, still hustling out, and he's got it. Aoki back to first. So 2 away here in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring up Billy Butler.
And we could all hear Kyle said, I got it, and that's to alert the hard charging right field, in this case Reddick. He let him know verbally, plus put the glove up. Infielders with their backs to really the outfield, they're always concerned about a collision, and rightfully so. Charge again hard and try to let them know as quickly as possible.
So Butler steps up. He's 1 for 8 in the series. So the A's have done a pretty good job keeping him quiet. And he shoots one right up the middle past Kazmir, and that's a base hit. And Coco juggles, and Aoki, who stopped at second, sees the juggle, and then he goes to third. So that's going to be an error on Coco Christ.
Well, fastball right back and over Kazmir. As if the ball snakes in the outfield a little bit, and it did snake and take a little bit of a different angle or a different move, but right, watch there. And of course, the outfield, you roll the ball, it acts like a snake where it will go side to side. But Coco's played enough in the outfield, all outfields, to know that if that is the case, and in this case, Aoki was not going anywhere, as similar on Monday night with Dyson, when he went to third on a miscue by Reddick.
So the A's threatened in the top of the first, Royals threatening in the bottom of the first. It's a single, and it's an error on Coco. And this is Alex Gordon. Gordon swings at a slider. It's the 3rd error in the series by the Athletics, and the 79th error on the season.
So Monday night it cost them because it happened with nobody out. At least this time it's already with 2 outs, where Kazmir can get out of the inning. And that's not going to affect him.
Swing and a miss. Good fastball, 94 miles an hour.
Breaking pitch to start. Good fastball to back it up. And Gordon in the lineup every day. They said the hard throwing Lester last night. Once again tonight against Kazmir. Thing about last night, he got better second and third at bats against Lester after his first.
Lays off that slider. Well, Gordon 260 against lefties this year, so he hangs in there pretty good. 288 against right-handers. And another breaking ball, and Gordon lays off.
But he has not swung or come close to swinging at either one of them. Good block by Derek Norris on a ball in the dirt.
Fryman playing behind Butler at first. And that one just a touch low, 3-2.
Tom Hallion is not giving the low strike. And Derek Norris holding it, and from that angle it looks like it's a pretty good one, but Hallion has not called anything down there.
Butler takes off. Swing and a miss. He threw it right by him. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So the Royals strand a pair in the bottom of the first. Second inning coming up. No score. And check out our grand opening and summer savings. Visit our website at discoverrv.net. There's the fountains out in the outfield. That's the statue of the late Dick Hauser.
What a nice man. Very nice man.
There he is.
Tell you what,
That's
a great facial, because that's exactly what he looks like.
Lowry shoots on the right, and he's got a leadoff single. So Lowry back in the lineup. Fractured finger and all. Can't slow Jed Lowry down.
Nope.
He's got a hit.
Well, I think some people might have made a lot out of that last night. Of course, it just so coincidentally happened that, of course, Lowry had been playing with the fracture, but that's good hitting opposite field with an off-speed pitch. But it's a hairline fracture. He had been playing with the injury, and then when the MRI results came back, he's been playing with it, so he's going to play with it again. Some things are going to happen. Sometimes you're going to play with nagging injuries and just tape it up and go.
Try rub a little dirt on it.
Yeah.
Help it heal. See, that's the problem, Ray. with your finger. You didn't rub enough dirt on it. No. And now look what happened.
You know what happened with mine? When it broke, it would not. I bend it. I couldn't straighten it. So the team trainer said, well, let me bend it. Let me tape it. So I taped it and I continued to play. That's what happened. Thing was broken.
Oh, it makes me laugh. And I don't mean that in a mean, sarcastic way. You know that.
Of course.
It's when you point at something using that finger, it means that if I say, Ray, which way should I go, and you point, it's telling me to go around the corner. So
I think you're right.
I don't want anybody to think I'm disrespecting my partner. I would never do that. Cologne, second, first, double play. 5-4-3, 2 outs. So Cologne actually had a range quite a ways to his left.
And if Big Nate had hit his as hard as Johnny Gomes did, it'd have been first and second, nobody out. But instead, the grass slowed it down, wasn't hit as hard. And as much as he was hustling, still turned nicely by Infante to get the double play. 2 quick outs. And Vargas going to do some ground balls.
First pitch to Reddick, called the strike. Reddick 259, 8 homers, 34 RBIs, and 3 for 9 in this series. High fly ball toward Gordon in left. Moving toward the line, he's got it side retired. So the leadoff single is wiped out by the double play. Bottom of the second coming up. Willingham to lead off.
The Philadelphia Phillies Oktoberfest style beers will be available throughout the ballpark. 10,000 fans will receive an Oktoberfest Stein courtesy of Cache Creek Casino Resort. In addition, fans may purchase a special ticket to attend a Brewmaster meet and greet that includes a commemorative Oktoberfest ceramic stein. For tickets, visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest. That's OK, T-O-B-E-R-F-E-S-T. Got to spell the OK, not the O-C, because Oktoberfest.
Willingham to lead it off, bottom of the second inning. Good pitch, 1-1. Willingham, Kane, and Escobar, 3 right-handed hitters to face Kazmir. Willingham had a double in his first game as a Royal last night. first. Again, 3-1.
Diamond Vision put in the career numbers for Willingham against the Athletics just to show off.
Yeah.
8 home runs, 19 RBI. And that's just since 2013 or 12.
Right down at the knees, it's called a strike. So the low strike is called there, and now it's 3-2.
Well, if you're in the hitting position, 6th, you see a couple of down there, you figure he's not going to call it, but that's a strike. It's like the one to Gordon was.
And a changeup stays high, and it's a leadoff walk.
Well, the way Kazmir threw this, and I think he's a little surprised it was not called a strike. He kind of slumps, and it buckled the knees of Willingham. Probably more of a curveball that
it was not a changeup.
And I think you saw the look on his face, feeling fooled him, but might have fooled somebody else.
So for the second inning in a row, the Royals have their leadoff man on. Here's Lorenzo Cain. That one in there for a strike.
One of the things, the best things about Scott Kazmir, and we have talked when he's at Tampa Bay, he can throw 97, 98 miles per hour consistently. And just the fact that he's so easy with his delivery now. The changeup is a great pitch, the cut fastball, but his fastball is very sneaky. And that's how I think you get that little hesitation from hitters. That's a good changeup there. But the fastball is the case with Gordon. He's got to be thinking 3-2 count, I'm going to get a fastball, but it was by him in a heartbeat. This changeup had Cain pulling off, thinking he's going to get another fastball. Changeup, fastball. Changeup, fastball.
That one hit high in the air down the right field line. Foul. Well, 75% of the time, you're going to get a fastball or a changeup.
And just like you said, Cain that time 0-2 gets fastball and he got it. He just fouled it back. Derek Norris gets fastball, got a changeup 3-2. And that was in the first inning.
And that one reached for and poked to right field. Reddick coming in, still coming in, and he's going to get there to make the catch. Scott Kazmir, let's break it down by month, ERA and WHIP. WHIP is walks and hits per innings pitched. So the month of August has been a little bit of a struggle for Scott Kazmir.
And you could also show Sonny Gray in the same month where he struggled.
Now he's only made, this is just his third start in August, but 4 runs in 6 innings against the Royals. 5 runs in 6 2/3 innings against the Twins, and this the third start of the month. Kazmir closing in on 150 innings. He's now at 143 for the season. On to Escobar, who shows bunt, pitches outside. Last year with the Indians, Kazmir made 29 starts. He threw 158 innings. Hit to Callaspo, scoops it up. Nice flip to second. And that's a double play. So each team with a double play, and we're moving to the third. Callaspo to lead it off. No score.
Presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort at the 1:05 p.m. Labor Day matinee against the Seattle Mariners. September the 1st, 15,000 fans will walk away with authentic green replica A's jersey. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets today. Can you imagine that September 1st is right around the corner? Hard to believe. Seems like it was just April.
Callaspo to lead it off here in the third. Callaspo had a couple of hits last night, including a double. He scored a run. Hits that one on the ground right to Escobar. Throws in time. That's the first out here in the third inning. Top of the order, and Coco Crisp. Coco hit a fly ball to left field, leading off the game. Coco spent a year with the Kansas City Royals.
He had some surgeries from here, didn't he?
He did. Actually, he was traded here for pitcher Ramon Ramirez, traded from the Red Sox to the Royals. That was 2009. But it was his 1 year here. He had some shoulder issues here, and it ended up in that season he only played in 49 games for the Royals. And then that off season he was a free agent, and that's when he signed with the Athletics. And now in his 5th year with the A's. So he really did not play a whole lot that year.
I see he had both shoulders operated.
Yeah, in the middle of June he went down, and he did not play the rest of the year that season. He's retired by Gordon. So Coco's 0 for 2. And Sam Fuld hits with 2 outs. Fuld struck out swinging in the first inning, 1 of 2 strikeouts for Jason Vargas so far. Vargas had just a 9-pitch second inning. And he's got a leadoff single in that inning. Double play does wonders for your pitch count.
Yes, it does.
Right there, first strike. So Fuld now 2 for 12 in his career against Vargas. Fastball on the inside corner. Much less wind tonight here at the ballpark. First 2 nights it was nice, but it was pretty breezy. Not the case tonight. Escobar charges, gets a nice hop, fires to first, side retired. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jason Vargas. Bottom of the third coming up, no score. part 2 is just as good. It's David Feldman's sit down with the Harbaugh brothers, Jim and John. It's an in-depth interview. We showed you part 1 last night. Part 2 is tonight, and it's coming up at 10:30 on Sportsnet Central. That'll be over on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. So check out David Feldman with the Harbaugh brothers, part 2 tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Scott Kazmir kicks and delivers the first pitch at the bottom of the 3rd, and it's in first strike to Christian Colon. Colon pinch hit last night in the 8th inning, getting a start tonight. Moustakas getting the night off. And that was belted to left field. Spinning around his fold, and he reaches up to make the catch.
Hit him hard. You like the atom balls if you're a pitcher. That was an atom ball. Colon's been swinging the bat well, and at least against the Athletics. And this fastball he guessed correctly and hit it hard. And Sam Fuld, though, very adept in outfield, whether it's center last night, left tonight. Handled it very well. After all, he's very accustomed to this park, as he was here just recently with the Twins. You know what Ned Yost said? We've talked about the size of the outfield here at Kauffman Stadium. Ned Yost said this is the largest outfield per square foot in the American League, if not all of baseball. But talk about the size, it's huge, and I guess if you put the square footage on it, it is the largest
in the American League.
American League. I mean, you look at the gaps. I don't think Coors Field, with the altitude there and the big outfield, might be bigger, but he said in the American League this is the largest. And probably the biggest thing is the fact the gaps in left center, right center are a long way away. Whereas like the Coliseum, it kind of goes straight out, so those gaps are a little bit shorter. It's kind of like Yankee Stadium, left center, right center.
I was just thinking in the American League,
it's bigger than Comerica Park, which I was surprised, because that would be big. The next.
Minnesota's big.
Minnesota's big, but
Seattle's big.
But I guess they've gone down to sabermetrics and actual square footage of the outfield. This is the top.
Yeah, you may have a challenge with Coors Field, San Diego, or the Giants Park. Those are all huge outfields. Interesting. And another hit for Aoki. Well, he has been a tough out this year for the Athletics, and he is 2 for 2.
So I thought it was surprising he did start Monday night. As Kane started, and of course Dyson in center field. But Aoki back-to-back games in right field, back in the leadoff spot. Lost his leadoff spot in the batting order for a few games, but that goes put him back. Remember one time Alex Gordon was leadoff hitter for the Royals. They have him down more in a RBI position.
So Aoki 4 for 6 in the series. Here's Infante. See if the Royals try to get something going by moving a runner. So if you're a second place hitter, you know you got a stolen base guy in front of you. We talk about this quite a bit, Ray. Let the guy try to steal a bag and get in scoring position for you. Would somebody like Infante, and I'm just using him as an example because he's the guy hitting behind, would you go to Aoki and say, hey, you got a good read on Kazmir? I mean, well, if you don't, that's fine. Then
because Aoki would have the green light, and that is a little bit difficult for a hitter. But like you said,
that one's hit to left, and that one is gone. Omar Infante with a 2-run homer, and the Royals lead 2-0, and he hit that one a ton.
He might have been thinking exactly what you said, though. Kazmir might have been thinking about the stolen base, because after the second pitch out of the strike zone, the 2-0 was very hittable, and he hit it. Doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but it takes a long time for each one, and after this fastball was belt high and ball.
So to the back of the bullpen is where it landed. 6th home run of the year for Infante, and the 12th home run that Kazmir has allowed this year. Perez gets jammed. Fryman grabs it. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. So the Royals, with a fewest home runs in baseball, but they get their first in this series and 72nd home run on the year. So I would think if the Royals get home runs at any point, it's just a bonus for them.
Absolutely.
Because it's just not something they rely on.
Yeah, you're thinking more opposite field base hit for Infante, and instead he goes deep. Okay, if you look back, last 7 starts for Kazmir, he'd only given up a home run to Adam Rosales in Arlington before tonight. And that's Detroit, Toronto, San Francisco, Houston, Texas, Kansas City, Minnesota, and now back to Kansas City. They've been keeping them all in the park, but that was a fastball that should have been hit as far as it was.
Butler hits from the right the other way. That's hitting well, but Reddick's going to get back there, and he's got plenty of room. Makes the catch. Side retired. Omar Infante helps the Royals strike first. A 2-run homer. 2-0 KC. Chen, his third multi-home run game in his career, and he's now got 25 home runs on the season, and he's got 84 RBIs. Remember last year Donaldson finished the season with 24 and 93, so more home runs this year than last year, and he will get to the RBIs as well. In fact, Donaldson now tied for 4th in the American League in RBIs, and actually tied for 3rd. Jose Abreu has 86. Mike Trout has 85. Miguel Cabrera has 85. Donaldson and Ortiz with 84. So good company for Donaldson. Jose Abreu, the rookie from the White Sox, 31 home runs, 86 RBIs. He leads the league in both those categories. It's quite a story. Jose Altuve still leading the league in hitting, 339. There's your leaderboard for home runs. Chris Carter with 28. I did not see that coming, and only because of how much he was struggling the first couple months of the season. He has been red hot. Center field. Kane backs up, and there's that huge outfield, and Kane grabs it. So Donaldson 1 for 2. The home run spray chart, which I tell you what, that is something right there.
I mean, really, you go line to line. That's Josh Donaldson.
You see the different pitches. Obviously, fastball the most. Changeup. See a couple home runs on a changeup. See one on a curveball. couple on sliders, 4 on sliders. No surprise that 2 of the home runs to right field, Ray, are on sliders.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
And you know what would be a good idea to take a photograph of that, blow it up, and give it to him as a gift.
That is good. At the end of the year, you see where your home runs went and what pitch you hit out. That's very interesting.
So there's your Christmas gift, Delaire,
from the A's broadcast.
That's right. Because that was beautifully done. And it really shows that he is a type of player that will use the whole field, and you don't see a lot of home run hitters that will do that. But the interesting thing about Donaldson, and he's gone to a heavier bat. He said he likes to do that this time of the year, and he talks about sometimes with his approach that he's a little too quick and hits the ball towards the end of the bat, but he's using a 33-ounce bat. Now, while that may not seem to be heavy in today's standard, it is heavy because 31, 32 is usually, but he's ordering some additional bats from Steve Vucinich. And it was 34 inches, 33 ounces. And he says it allows him to have the same approach, but when it makes contact, that ball traveled quite a distance on a 3-1 fastball. It just happened to hit a straightaway center.
Norris shoots one to right field. Aoki's there. Side retired. So that is 8 in a row retired by Jason Vargas. It's the Royals 2, the A's nothing as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Beautiful look outside Kauffman Stadium, which was renovated back in 2011. $250 million were spent on this ballpark, and some of it was on that outside right there, the silver panelings on the outside. They built offices for the Royals, and a lot of the work done inside as well, obviously. But for a ballpark grade that's been here since 1973, it is pretty good.
Well, Mike Swanson, longtime PR director, of course, of the Royals, had been with the Diamondbacks, and he was telling me, and I do remember it. I remember we came in here, they were trying to get a vote to build a new stadium downtown. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I do remember that a little bit.
Swanee was saying, what are you people doing? You got the most beautiful place. And they had a vote, and it was voted down, fortunately. And then they put the $250 million into this place to ultimately improve it, plus get the All-Star game. But while downtown stadiums are good, and other places might be, but here, no.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a perfect place for a stadium because it does have the freeway access. It's been here, like you said, since '73, and nothing's really changed. Same parking lot, same freeway with the cars going along the top.
Lowry has it as he was playing the shift. Gordon is retired. But yeah, downtown ballparks are great for the most part, but sometimes you're right, not so.
With the huge diamond vision in center field, we'll see the same at Turner Field, Atlanta, and they're going to be getting a new stadium, I think, what, 2016, 17, something like that. But similar huge diamond vision, and it's just a beautiful park here in Kansas City with the football stadium next door.
And you know what? It really is somewhat of a regional team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're going to have people coming from all over the state.
And
freeway, get off, park your car, and enjoy the day.
And if you look at the headlines in the newspaper, it tells you it's a regional team because they got in the first place for half a game, and then I think today's headlines still standing alone or something like that. So, I mean, with a one-team town and a team does something well, then whether it's players of the team, they're going to get top billing in the sports page.
Yep. And there's no NBA team here. Yep. There's no NHL team here. The Chiefs are obviously extremely popular. See, that's the Chiefs Stadium right there, and there's Kauffman Stadium. So that tells you that's a great shot. It tells you just how close the two stadiums are, and you'll have to look long and hard to find larger parking areas than they have. I mean, the parking lots here, and there's about 4 of them surrounding the two stadium, and they are just massive parking lots.
Okay, but one time they wanted to take a roof that would go back and forth between the two. That was the original plan.
It's a bad idea. A good idea, but a bad idea.
Never worked, but they were actually talking about it, like a transportable roof to cover one, cover the other, but they do have a tunnel between the two stadiums.
Yep.
So a rare hit for Willingham against Scott Kazmir. Against the A's, yes, but not against Kazmir. He had not been hitting very well, but that time got a fastball. And really for Kazmir tonight to Willingham, and we saw with Infante, 2-0 to Infante, 2-1 to Willingham. He's thrown the fastball, so maybe that will encourage him to throw the changeup in those same counts in the remainder of this game.
So 5 hits now for the Royals, and here's Kane. A little bit outside. Of course, the Royals played at Old Municipal Stadium for the first 4 years of their existence, 69 to 72. That's where the Kansas City A's played. You played in that ballpark, right?
Yes, I did.
Charlie Finley was his ballpark for his A's when they were here.
And down the left field line in foul territory, there was a stable that housed the one and only Charlie O. the Mule. During the games, he grazed in this.
Got treated better than you guys did.
That's right.
Runner goes, a good jump, and Willingham doesn't even need to slide no throw. He's got a huge jump, and that's one of those where you just take off on first move and you hope that the pitcher throws home, and that's exactly what happened.
Watch Kazmir. He's looking right at him. See that? He was looking at him when he took off, but he had already committed to go to the plate.
So we wouldn't have thought it, Ray. If I'd have said to you on our plane flight flying into Kansas City on Sunday night, the Royals will get their first stolen base on Wednesday, and it'll be Josh Willingham.
But, you know, the amazing thing, and a lot of times a left-handed pitcher, when he's thrown to the plate, will look at the runner, and vice versa. And that's what, you know, there's this kind of consistent. But when a left-handed pitcher lifts his leg and looks right at the runner as he's taken off and knows he's committed to go to the plate, he can't change. And that's why Andy Pettit.
And the throw goes into center field, and Willingham's going to try for third. Coco's throw is a bit high, and Willingham is safe. So it's going to be another error on the Athletics as the pickoff play sailed into center field, and Willingham's not going anywhere.
Nope, he's not going anywhere. And even after he had hit the ground, he still got up, and we know players are going to run on Coco Crisp. But you're right. But coincidentally, Kazmir, after the stolen base by Willingham, went to talk to Callaspo, and they put on a pickoff. But you're right, he's absolutely going zero, nowhere. Now he's at third infield in.
2-1 pitch. Hit foul right side into the second level. So a couple of errors for the Athletics in this ball game.
The only way Coco Crisp can, in that case, prevent the runner from advancing is anticipate the ball going to center field. Once the ball gets past the infielder, then you break. But if you anticipate, your charging will keep the runner at second.
Lowry scoops it up. Nice play. And Willingham has to stay at third. So big out there. 2 outs.
Well, Jed Lowry is so good at charging the ball. Of course, we've seen him charge the ball and throw on the run. He takes off on this one and charges, gets the good hop, or actually he creates the good hop by charging, and it is a short hop. Played nicely and looked the runner back to third. Now they can go back to normal position. Pretty good hands, and again with him on the move, he's able to make the throw even with the injured right index finger.
So here's Escobar.
I think Nate Fryman was reminding Scott Kazmir about the possibility of Escobar bunting, so he's playing even with the bat.
Donaldson back. I'm actually a little bit surprised Donaldson's playing that far back. 0-1 the count to Escobar.
It's the question whether Willingham is aware that Escobar might do that. Being a new player to the team, only his second game, of course, played against the Royals.
And an 0-2 right there for a strike, but it was an off-speed pitch. So Kazmir trying to fight back, and he's ahead in the count 0-2.
There's a change-up, a good change-up after a good fastball. Another changeup, just get it down. And that's where Derek Norris wants it.
Nice block by Norris. Calmly blocks it.
That's great confidence boost for a pitcher to have a catcher call the changeup, put his glove on the ground, and then say, "You throw it and I'll block it," and he did it perfectly. That's textbook there. Catcher's met between the legs on the ground, block the ball. Ball away.
Two and 2 to Escobar, who hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the second inning. He's 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs in the series. Swing and a miss. Got him off speed. So Willingham stranded at third, and we're through 4. Royals 2, A's nothing.
To win a Friday night fireworks experience as the A's take on the Phillies game. That's on September the 19th, presented by State Farm. You'll have VIP access the whole night, from throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to MVP infield seats, and finally a special fireworks viewing area on the field. That's special. Enter at winwithstatefarm.com/Oakland A's. Oh, that would be a fun night, man. Talk about an experience.
So 5th inning, A's trailing 2-0. Lowry, Fryman, Reddick. Remember, Vargas in Oakland was perfect through 4, and then the A's battered him around in that 5th inning. We'll see what the A's do tonight here in the 5th inning.
I think there was some concern about his endurance in that game because it was his first back after the 5 days on the disabled list.
Gordon over and in a little bit, and that's the first out.
7th fly ball out.
So remember last night we told you the gentleman on the left, Richard Puglia, who works at Comcast Sportsnet in the office, and on the right is Tom Pellick. And Tom's been a Comcast Sportsnet employee for, oh my gosh, over 20 years now. And Tom flew in today. Richard was here last night, so they're enjoying the ball game tonight. We had some fun with Richard last night. Richard took a selfie before the game and was still looking at it in the 9th inning.
Did Richard call Tom and say, "Flying, I need somebody to sit with me," to be wearing A's stuff like I am, and don't want everybody yelling at me, or nobody would take a picture, so I have to take a selfie?
So 2 good guys, good sports fans, and they have come to Kansas City to watch the Athletic. They're going to say, you know, it's a work trip.
Tom's on his phone, so he's working.
People do things. I don't think it's a work trip. I think they're just enjoying themselves, as they should be. Those two guys are going to watch the game tomorrow and then get on the I-70 and head to St. Louis to watch the Cardinals.
That's a great trip there.
That is a good trip.
Yeah, another beautiful new stadium in St. Louis.
And a changeup, and Fryman cannot hold up, and that's strikeout number 3. Fryman, he saw that changeup, and it just actually kind of worked its way away from him as well.
A couple of fastballs inside to set up the changeup away from him.
So 2 away. And that'll bring up Reddick. So St. Louis about 4 hours from here, pretty much straight east, right through the state of Missouri.
Yep.
Not a bad idea, though.
It's a show me state. You show me a lot of country. Driving from here to
you'll see some cornfields, no question.
Cornfields. I see Shoeless Joe's coming out of the cornfield sometimes. Baseball.
1-2 to Reddick, who hit a fly ball to left field his first at bat. Reaches for that one. Vargas has retired 10 in a row, so he's locked in. He's trying to get him back into the stretch. He gave up a couple hits in the first and then a leadoff hit in the second. Nothing since then. And a swing and a miss, struck him out. So another 3 up, 3 down inning, and that's 11 in a row retired by Vargas. The Royals leading 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th.
to strike out with runners on. But Jason Vargas has been just as good to strike out to Sam Fuld early. And then the big mistake, 2-0 fastball. And that was Infante. And I think Scott Kazmir took a peek, but I think he knew with the sound of the bat, location of the pitch, that it was going to be leaving into the bullpen. And it did. I think the highlight of that part was seeing those first 2 strikeouts. Nobody at diamond level behind home plate. And by the time Infante hit the home run, it was packed.
So that's right.
Look at this. All these people back here. They're all of a sudden showing up. Or maybe they were in the dining room underneath eating, because there's a kind of an area, a tunnel with a nice restaurant they can go to and then go sit in their seats. Oh, there's a baseball game.
Colon bunts. Donaldson charges. Throw to first, and he's safe.
Well, I think Bob Millman's going to come out on that. Anytime there's a close play, and Bob Millman's going to start out, get a call from Chip Hale, and Adam Roden take a look at it, and they're saying don't go to the mound, hold off a second. Nice bunt. Donaldson made a nice play. Bang, bang. Call safe. Trip Gibson is the first base umpire making the safe call. And it's bang, bang. And what's the call on the field? If he's safe, stand. Well, he's going to stand. So he's going to go out and think about it.
Very controversial call today, Ray, in a ball game in San Francisco on the catcher's rule. And you'll see plenty of highlights of it. And
just wonder, I wonder if Bob Millman's talking to Tom Hallion about him being out of the batter's box. Maybe take another look at him bunting and see if he ran up a little bit too far to bunt and was out of the zone. Now, they're going to call him in.
See what they're going to do.
Now, this is the play at first, and the jump by Colon, and it looks like his foot did hit the bag before the ball got into the webbing, but see if we can see Colon bunting, and they're probably saying no, but Bob Millman goes to Tom Hallion. It's more, I would think, about the batter. And Eric Cooper, they're going to talk, but
Tom Hallion is the crew chief.
Yeah. But watch the batter. If he's out of the batter's box and bunts it, he's out. And he moves up, and his right foot was in front of the plate. The question where his left foot was. I don't know if he have a center field angle, maybe, or to show that. But see how he moves up, and I would think that's why Bob Millman, because he would have gone out to first base to argue on that play, but when he went to Hallion, I think it was more about Colon, because anytime a hitter runs to bunt, there's always the question whether he's going to stay in the box or not.
And it's bunted. Kazmir has it. He'll flip to first, throw a little bit low, but Fryman has it. So sacrifice. Colon goes to second base.
Well, we get a side shot of Colon at the bunt, and this we'll be able to see where the batter's box is. See the left foot, right foot. I mean, it's questionable. And of course, the batter's box, there's lines drawn for a purpose, and that's to make sure that the hitter stays in the batter's box to swing and or bunt. Sacrifice, can't cross the plate. And see Kazmir pump his fist like he thought he was out, but I think the replay showed that he was safe, well, not in Nate's glove.
Here's Infante. First pitch is inside to Infante with Colon at second, 1 out. Infante, a 2-run homer in the third. So that play today in San Francisco, Ray, it was an overturned call on the catcher blocking home plate. Runner was called out, and he was clearly out, but then they said the catcher blocked home plate with his foot, called safe, and it really had a huge a huge impact on the outcome of the game.
Well, maybe it's like the transfer. They're going to disallow it, completely eliminate it, because that's such a bad call on both catchers, runners, everybody. Nobody knows what to do. And a manager has to challenge it, because you never know, you might get the call. In the case of today, they got it. Last night they didn't. But you know, it really takes away. And I think Montero with the Diamondbacks said, I don't know what to do. He said, I get the ball, can I block the guy, can they run me over? And you know, just so much indecisiveness, and just hope nobody gets hurt because of that.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talk about it tonight and tomorrow, and I think it's plays like that that may lead to a revision of the rule. Want to know the count to Infante with Perez, the on-deck hitter. Good pitch, 1-1. So 65 pitches for Kazmir with 1 out here in the 5th inning. Big hole on the right side. Callaspo trying to keep Colon close. And Infante does hit the ball very well the other way. His home run he pulled, obviously, but we've seen him enough to know that he is a good opposite field hitter.
I remember Aoki was at first when he hit the home run. Now with the runner at second, it does open up the right side, and I agree with you. He might be thinking more that direction.
Another pickoff, and Kazmir made a good throw right on the bag. Just getting back is Colon. Slowly toward Lowry, who charges. He's got it. Throws, and Infante safe. Infante hustling down the line. So an infield hit, and it's 1st and 3rd.
Well, he's kind of out of the batter's box as soon as he hits it, and that, with his speed, Lowry made the play as well as he could. Really, he's playing deep, which again, that's the position to play. It's just the ball hit slowly enough that Infante get it out of the box quickly, and really no question about that one.
So unfortunately for the A's, we're seeing that Royals speed in this inning.
Really, from a lot of players, this is probably the slowest guy in the lineup, and that's Perez. So they can get a ground ball, can get out of an inning with a double play. They will play back for that.
Perez with a pop out to second and a pop out to first. Hit high in the air, right field, not real deep. Reddick sets up. Colon tags. Here comes Colon. The throw is way offline. So a sacrifice fly for Perez, and it's 3-0. And Infante is able to tag up and go first to second.
We have seen from Josh Reddick between Monday night and tonight 2 throws that we would never expect to see. The one thing about him is accuracy, and worst case he'll keep the ball down to hit the cutoff man, but this is an airmail. And fortunately, Kazmir was backing up, but Infante had already tagged anyway once he saw the throw go to the plate. But that's just an abnormal play to see Reddick make that kind of a throw. But thought he had a chance to get the runner, but the speed of Colon, the bunt, sacrifice, the third, that's first ball out of the infield. And instead of the out recorded with Infante on the ground ball, it's 1st and 3rd, and the second out is a fly ball and a sac fly.
So maybe small ball at its best for the Royals here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So it's now 3-0. Infante in scoring position for Butler. Slider first strike. The Tigers are leading the Pirates 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning in Detroit. So the Tigers trying to break their 4-game losing streak. Interleague game against a Pirates team that's right in the thick of the National League playoff chase.
The Royals fans are excited because their team's half game in first place, playing great baseball. But let's see, this is game 119 for the Royals, and Tigers really aren't just going to die. I mean, they're too good of a team, and even with some injuries, they are a very good team, and just can never count them out.
Yeah, they've lost Verlander for a little while, anyways. They've lost Anibal Sanchez, so 40% of the starting rotation. But they still have 2 Cy Young Award winners in the rotation.
And Joaquin Soria goes on the disabled list, and they still have the closer in Nathan.
So there's your look around the Central and wild card standing. You see the Royals with that half-game lead. Angels, the #1 wild card. Tigers now the 2nd wild card. Actually, the Tigers and the Mariners are tied for that 2nd wild card. Blue Jays 2 back, and always remember the games back in that wild card is games back from the 2nd wild card team. So everybody's in on that list. Yankees and the Orioles are tied 2-2, bottom of the 8th in Baltimore.
Another quick pitch by Kazmir, outside corner, and I guess just missed.
Up the middle, and Kazmir grabs it, lobs it to first side, retired. So a run on 2 hits, and we are on to the 6th inning. It's now 3-0 Royals. Spicy Chicken Club combo for just $4.99 plus tax. So try that. Or if you want to be in Kansas City, you just do that right there.
Greg Sumner had some of that next door. He told about us after we had already eaten it. But that was good.
That's one of the famous barbecue places here in Kansas City, Arthur Bryant's. So you got to do that when you come here. Do it once at least. Just make sure you don't eat too much. Burnt ends. That's what's big here, right? Burnt ends. Ribs.
Yeah. Burnt ends. That's right. That's the specialty.
Yeah, let's get it too. 1-1 to Callaspo. Right on the inside corner. Right now, Ray, Vargas is dealing. He's retired 11 in a row.
Inside corner, right to the catcher's mitt and right arm of Tom Halyard.
We'll see if he goes back outside with a changeup. He went outside with a changeup, and it looks like it's going to work as Kane comes out of nowhere to make the catch. So that's pretty good pitching right there.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about the starters in Oakland in this series, Jason Vargas, while he was perfect first 4 innings, and the low fastball there, and it made it look like he might have a perfecto in the workings, but he did give up 7 of the 8 runs in the 5th inning. But those first 4 innings he was perfect, and the A's got to him. But look at Jeremy Guthrie on August the 1st. He gave the A's nothing, 1-0. 3 hits in the 6 innings, the shutout. The A's got to him last night. But tonight, Vargas is getting the better of the A's in this game.
One to Coco Crisp. Hits it hard. Backhanded nicely by Colon. Straightens up. Throws low. Butler's got it. 2 outs. Colon was playing in, so he had to have even quicker reactions, and he made a nice play.
Fortunately for him, the short hop was short enough in front of Butler. He could make the play without a problem, but Colon getting a start at third, playing even, and nice backhanded play. The ball is past him. It's at least a double, but that's the defense. It actually started in the first inning with Escobar diving on Johnny Gomes' ball to keep a run from scoring, and that might have set the tone for this game defensively for the Royals and the pitching of Vargas.
Sam Fuld rolls it foul, bounces right into the Royals dugout. 1-1 the count.
Remember that game against Vargas, Sam Fuld in the 8-run inning had a great drag bunt past Vargas and ended up beating out for base hit, with Vargas falling off towards the third base side.
Slowly hit. Escobar scoops it up quickly to first side, retired. 14 in a row retired by Jason Vargas. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 3-0 KC. All-Star game was right here in Kansas City, and that's our own Ryan Cook. Came in the 7th inning, got a couple of strikeouts. Bryce Harper, he gone. David Wright, he gone. National League won 8-0, but Ryan Cook did his thing well. That was the 2012 All-Star game right here.
And you know what, Kai? The great thing about Ryan Cook in that game, I mean, he did a great job. But the fact that when the inning was over, he walked this side to the first base dugout instead of third base where he comes in as a visitor. So that's impressive. And now he's in the bullpen down the right field side, but he's on a nice roll himself and pitching extremely well. And the bullpen is doing a tremendous job.
I did the He Gone in honor of course, the great Hawk Harrelson, who, not to belittle the point, but he was not happy today about the call at home plate against his White Sox, and some of the things that he had to say are getting out on social media.
And it's not the first time for the Hawkmaster, because he has said some things, but he is passionate about the White Sox.
Can't blame him.
I mean, when a broadcaster said, well, we got to do better than this. And, you know, us, and, you know, he's watching the game last night and, you know, flipping back and forth, and come on, man, get a hit. Get a hit between the hole between third and short. I mean, he's something, but I mean, they talk about Tomlin sort of bleeding Dodger blue. I think the Hawk bleeds White Sox.
He does.
Whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
He is really passionate about his Sox.
Good guys. Two and two to Gordon. It'll be Gordon, Willingham, and Kane here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. Slider, and Gordon chased it. So Gordon 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
You saw the slider sign given by Derek Norris, and that's a good chase slider. 2-2, get him to chase a pitch out of the strike zone. That's a very good pitch from Casper.
So one away for Willingham. About 20 minutes, the Phillies and the Angels will get started. AJ Burnett for the Phillies, Weaver for the Angels. Jared Weaver 12-7 on the year. Change-up, swing and a miss. Last night the Angels won 7-2. Before that they had lost 5 out of their last 6, but they got a win last night. It's just a 2-game series, so the Angels will be off tomorrow, and then they will head out on a 10-game road trip. They will go to Texas, Boston, and then of course finish in Oakland. The Boston series is a 4-game series. Right now the Angels 3.5 back of the Athletics. Mariners are 9 back. So AJ Burnett, Jared Weaver tonight in Anaheim.
And by the end of this week, the A's will have played 2 more games than the Angels, because the Angels will have 2 days off while the A's are playing straight through, but those games will be made up probably in the next week or so, as far as the off days the A's will have next week.
That's right. The A's have Monday and Thursday off of next week. They were the Rangers today. Put Yu Darvish on the disabled list. Right elbow inflammation. So the bulging disabled list for the Rangers continues.
And they have to be hoping that that's only inflammation, because if it's worse than that, then you're looking at a lot of time. Like a year, unfortunately.
Willingham hits it hard, but to Donaldson. And that's out number 2. Yeah, the Rangers have used the disabled list 24 times this year, and not surprisingly, that's the most in the majors.
And those are not even messing around 15 days. They go straight to the 60s.
Yeah, you are right.
And that means pretty much season ending. Been kind of the year for the Rangers, with the Astros ahead of them in the division. Astros 23.5 back. The Rangers 26 back.
Hit high in the air toward Coco Crisp. And that'll do it. So Kazmir, 3 up, 3 down inning, and we're moving to the late inning. 7th inning coming up. 3-0 Royals. Tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo, name and hometown down for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. And tonight's fan photo comes from Ezekiel Chavez from Modesto. And yeah, that is maybe the newest A's fan, baby boy Ezekiel. He was born on the 8th of August. And as I check my calendar, that is last Friday. So he's just about 5 days old.
That's great math, partner. That's pretty good. I knew you were top of your game, and that shows it right there.
Top of my game tonight, Ray.
That's good math.
It's been a long climb to mediocrity, Ray.
But that's pretty special. 5-day-old photo, and
just
maybe the picture was taken when Ezekiel was just born. Who knows?
The pitch breakdown, and boy, Vargas has been really, really good tonight.
You know, that little turn of the body, which he started a couple years ago with Seattle, it's really worked well for him. And as he starts, watch him turn, almost see the number 51, but just enough of a turn that he can fool the hitter. It's tough to pick up the baseball, as it seems pretty obvious tonight with the A's not seeing the baseball well.
His last hit was Lowry's leadoff single in the 2nd inning, and now we're in the 7th. He's hitting his spots. You see, Perez wanted that one inside, and he got it in there a little bit off the plate. But what he's been doing is now it sets up the changeup away. We'll see if he does that with Donaldson. It did, but he missed. So now full count. Johnny Gomes to follow, and then Norris here in the 7th inning. Just 78 pitches for Vargas. He threw just 9 pitches in the 6th inning. High fastball popped up. The shortstop, Alcides Escobar, is under it. 1 out.
Well, 2013 September 24th, 4-hit shutout for then the Angels left-hander Vargas, winning 4-0. That was against A.J. Griffin, and he was dealing. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk in the game, and it was outstanding. And the change up there. So Vargas then wearing number 60, tonight 61. And he went the distance. A's did not have a runner reach second base against him in that game.
Free agent grabbed by the Royals, signed him to a 4-year, $30 million contract. He's done a nice job this year. 8-5 ERA, about 3.5 coming into tonight.
At that game that he pitched against the A's had clinched the division 2 days before. And of course, they still, you can see the players. Bob Melvin played the players getting ready for postseason. But still a very good outing by the left-hander who the Royals came after. When you think of the pitching problems of the Angels and injuries they've had, and Jason Vargas, of course, now with the Royals, pitched for the Mariners prior to the Angels in 2012 towards the end when the A's actually beat the Mariners to help propel them into the postseason. That was the weekend before the huge series against the Texas Rangers.
So 2 outs for Norris. Norris has struck out and hit a fly ball to right field. And he drives this one left center, hit pretty well, but Gordon's going to get there, and Gordon next to Kane makes the catch. So that is 17 in a row retired by Jason Vargas. 7th inning stretch coming up.
California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Now we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Know it all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Tonight's topics, we'll have part 2 of the Harbaugh brothers sit down with our own David Feldman. We'll also have highlights from our ball game here in Kansas City and the NBA schedule announced today. So I'm Ed 3. David Feldman will host what sounds like a pretty good edition of Sportsnet Central. Royals 3, A's nothing, bottom of the 7th inning. So the A's let their work cut out for them, Ray, with, of course, the good bullpen for the Royals, and they're down late in the game. So Casimir back to work here in the bottom of the 7th.
I think the Royals, and we were talking Monday night and talking to some people yesterday after the Monday night game, that once Escobar, who's hitting now, drove home the run with 2 outs, made it a 1-run game in the bottom of the 7th. Probably nobody in this place thought the Royals were not going to win because of their back end of the bullpen was outstanding, and that's the way it turned out, with Herrera getting the win, Davis and the rest of the bullpen doing a great job.
Reddick coming in, and he'll get there, and that's out number 1. Well, the Orioles beat the Yankees 5-3, and the Yankees are now 8 games back of the Orioles in that AL East. Yankees still in the hunt for the wild card, but they are sliding in the division. The Yankees have now now lost 4 in a row. They did get Michael Pineda back. He started tonight, went 5 innings. The Yankees were winning that game 2-1 in the 8th inning, but the Orioles hit a couple of home runs, scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th, and won 5-3. So the Orioles 69-50. And they have the biggest lead of any division leader in all of baseball.
I think the Yankees, after Mariano Rivera retired last year, no postseason, with Derek Jeter, the captain, retiring after this season, you'd think, well, they're hoping that they get to extend their season, play in October, but it's like now it might be one of the wild card spots to at least try to play in too deep in October. Because I don't think the Orioles are going away. I think they're going to.
Well, they're getting good pitching.
Yeah.
You know they're going to hit.
Exactly.
Plenty of offense. Pop-up foul. The Orioles did put Manny Machado on the 15-day disabled list with that sprained knee. They're also playing without Hardy. He's got a bad thumb. He is not on the disabled list. So they're playing a little short right now, but it has not slowed down the Orioles. But Machado on the 15-day DL. In fact, Michael Pineda, Ray, the last time Michael Pineda pitched was when they caught him with pine tar in his neck because he was suspended. And then he went to get ready to pitch back in the big leagues, and he got hurt. So that was in April. Donaldson scoops it up, charges, throws, and Fryman is able to keep his foot on the bag, and Cologne is out.
It's almost like the bunt that Cologne used in his last at bat that he singled, but Nate Fryman playing at first and really improving at the first base bag. Notice last year he had some plays you wondered, but he worked hard and continues to make some plays. Really stretched very nicely here to keep his foot on the bag, and probably could have used his left foot versus the right, but still got the job done. The idea of first base, you stand there with both feet close to the bag, and as the throw is coming, you make the decision which foot you're going to put on the bag, and then you stretch accordingly. But it's like he's kind of crossing over. See how he used to reach over his left leg. His foot is pointing towards the pitcher, so you kind of imagine if his left foot was on the bag, he'd just reach straight out and make the play. But he kept his foot on the bag, and that's the most important thing.
0-1 to Aoki. Fastball high. Aoki is 2 for 2 with a sacrifice, and he has scored a run. This year against the A's, he's 8 for 17. Hit toward first. Fryman has it. Side retired. So Kazmir is settled in. He's retired 8 in a row. And we're moving to the 8th inning. Lowry to lead it off. 3-0 Royals.
Ticket holder, you can still get 2014 postseason rights. Just place a deposit on a 2015 A's ticket plan and secure your place in line for 2014 postseason tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or go to athletics.com/deposit. Boys are still trying to get there, and just hope they can continue to play well and make it a reality again.
So here's Lowry, 1 for 2 with a single and a fly ball to left field. Fastball swing and a miss. Vargas has retired 17 in a row. He is under control as far as the pitch count goes. In fact, he's had 4 innings tonight where he's thrown less than 10 pitches. Kazmir 7 innings tonight, 3 earned runs. Lowry reaches for it. Escobar, lots of range, throws out Lowry, 1 out.
Well, even the ball is hit, it's not hit hard, and that allows the infielders to get the ball. Of course, the outfield, you know, the speed of the outfielders to run down balls in the air.
Dyson in center. Kane moves over to right. Aoki's out. And also Moustakas comes in at third. So the Royals go with their best defense. And here's Fryman. Fastball swing and a miss. Very high, foul territory. Moustakas is going to watch it drop 3 rows behind the A's dugout.
Where's that in Oakland?
Out. Yeah, that is big time out. Wade Davis up just in case. So 0-2 to Fryman. Fryman has hit into a double play and he has struck out. Attendance tonight 21,099. Gordon hesitated a moment. Now he comes in and he's got it. So another ball that was off the sweet part of the bat.
You know, it's sort of come down as Gregerson and Chavez get loose. Bullpen has not been used that much. Last night, of course, the A's had the lead back in not used, just Cook and Otero. But Vargas using fastball changeup now. He's just gone to the 2 pitches. He might flip a curveball every once in a while, as he did right there. But I think between the 2 pitches, fastball and changeup, they're working very effectively.
Reddick, a shot right into the glove of Infante, and that'll do it. So 20 in a row retired by Jason Vargas, and we're going to the bottom of the 8th, 3-0 Kansas City.
may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Let's look at our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 0-3-2 for the A's, 3-7-0 for the Royals. Scott Kazmir pitched pretty well, 7 innings, but he trails 3-0. A's have just 3 hits. Jason Vargas, 8 shutout innings, and he has retired the last 20 batters. And the big hit in the game, Omar Infante with a 2-run homer. The Royals also added a run in the 5th on a sacrifice fly by Salvador Perez. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Jesse Chavez comes in. He last pitched on Sunday at home against the Twins. He pitched an inning, gave up a couple of earned runs, gave up 3 hits and 2 walks. So Kazmir pitched well, but he will not get his 14th win tonight, as the A's are trailing 3-0. 2-0 to Infante. Infante also had a big hit in the 5th inning. It was an infield hit. He beat out a ground ball to short. It put runners at 1st and 3rd, and then Perez got a sacrifice fly. So Omar Infante has been right in the middle of the scoring tonight for Kansas City.
Well, we knew coming into this series it was going to be pitching dominated, and unfortunately for the A's, it has been exactly that. After last night, of course, the first night, the A's lost a 3-2 game. Last night, scored a bunch of runs, 20 hits. Tonight, can't sniff a hit. 3 total through 8 innings.
I think it does show you that momentum is tough to carry
right.
game to game in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Each game is so much different. And the 3-2 pitch misses. So Infante with the leadoff walk. Another terrific matchup. How about this? Samardzija and Shields tomorrow. It'll be a radio only game, so listen to 95.7 The Game. And the ball game will get started at 11 o'clock back in the Bay Area. Samardzija and Shields. So that should be fun. Then it's on to Atlanta for an interleague series against the Braves. Braves are fighting for playoff spot. The Braves have really been struggling. They've lost 8 out of their last 10. So we'll see what happens this weekend. It's never easy for an American League team to go into a National League park. The A's always seem to play very well in interleague play.
Well, they know they won't have the DH for sure.
That's your matchup on Friday. Jason Hamill will face Alex Wood, a young left-hander. His last start, Alex Wood had 12 strikeouts. Braves have some very, very good young starters.
Well, the one guy they don't want to see, the A's, is the guy in the back end of the bullpen.
Kimball. He's nasty.
Yeah.
Did you see, Ray? I don't know if you saw, but on Saturday, the A's and the Braves are going to wear uniforms from 1914. That was the year the Boston Braves beat the Philadelphia Athletics in the World Series. And the Braves organization is going to honor that 1914 team by wearing those uniforms. And the A's said, we're in, we'll do it. So that'll be Saturday. Sounds like they're going to have the whole old-time scoreboard and the whole deal. Nice play. Donaldson out at second and out at first. What a play by Donaldson.
Well, he concerned some double plays. Did it again last night with Willingham. Tonight it's Perez, and well, once he caught it, it's going to be an easy double play. Catching was the problem. Scorched. Almost knocked him to the ground, but Callasmo, that quick flip to get Perez, who was robbed of a base hit. But Donaldson, sure, he might have some errors beside his name, but man, he made some plays to more than make you forget about those.
Yep, he's as good as anybody.
Absolutely. His hands, his arm strength, and probably gets to balls others would not get to, and as a result might get an error, but he has been outstanding on both sides of the ball.
1-0 to Butler. Well, it's such a tough position in the American League to win a Gold Glove because you have Machado, who's very good, Beltre's very good, Longoria is very good, Seager's good from the Mariners. So you have so much competition there, and in Donaldson's case, you're afraid that the people who do vote, they may look at the air total.
Yeah.
Closer Howard toward Reddick in right field. And that'll do it for the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. So 9th inning coming up. The A's got work to do. They trail 3-0 to the Royals. Well, Jason Vargas going after the complete game shutout. He's got 5 career shutouts. The last one was against the A's. We showed you highlights of that a little bit earlier in the telecast. And he's got 3 career complete games against the A's. So the A's can get something going here in the 9th inning. He has retired 20 consecutive hitters going all the way back to the 2nd inning. And Callaspo pops it up. 1 out.
Well, here's tonight's Honda Player of the Game, and if you had any doubt, well, it's this guy, Jason Vargas, and the A's got to him for 8 runs in the 5th inning in Oakland. That was on August the 2nd. This is August the 13th, and he has been very dominating in this game tonight. He's got quick outs, pitch count down, and he's just been outstanding. Tip your hat, because that's all you can do, because he's pitched so well.
Top of the order, and Coco Crisp, first pitch was hit in the air to left field. 2 outs. So the crowd, again, over 21,000 on their feet, and they are seeing a masterful performance by the left-hander Jason Vargas. 22 consecutive hitters retired as Sam Fold steps in.
Getting ready to throw pitch number 94 to 95. Regardless, not a lot of pitches.
And he pumps the fastball right in there to Sam Fold. second, make that bounce to first. Butler has it, and that's the ball game. An absolutely sensational performance from Jason Vargas. So he gets his 6th career shutout. He retires the final 23 hitters tonight, and Jason Vargas is the story. 97 pitches. He gets his 9th win. So Vargas beats Kazmir, and the Royals take game 3 of the series. And they have won 2 of the first 3 games. So it's all about that young man, Jason Vargas, tonight. So final score from Kauffman Stadium, it's the Royals 3 and the Athletics nothing. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody, Bibb, and Joe starts right after this break.